Are the Pro Football Focus boys starting to smell what the Eagles are cooking? Let's discuss. So, according to Pro Football Focus, they have deemed the Philadelphia Eagles to have a top 5 receiving core. Now, here is how they did this. They broke it down into several tiers. The first tier being elite, the second tier being strong overall with a weak point or two, and their third tier is could be strength or weakness, and they have a tier 4, which is likely a weakness. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were ranked top 5, which put them in that elite category. The Cincinnati Bengals were ranked number 1. Obviously, they have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. Uh, then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came in second. They still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They also added Russell Gage, and they drafted one of the top tight ends in the draft, and Cade Otton. And the Miami Dolphins are ranked third with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, and I think they added Cedric Wilson as well. But the Philadelphia Eagles are ranked number 4. Obviously, we have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert. Those are the 4 people they decided to hold in high regard. And then they threw in Jalen Reagor as a low-end piece because of his speed. But the PFF boys starting to drink the Eagles Kool-Aid, and rightfully so. Let's be totally honest. The Philadelphia Eagles have built a roster that can compete with damn near any team in the NFL. The only question that we really have about this Philadelphia Eagles team is the quarterback position and potentially the safety position. But I think Anthony Harris could be serviceable, and Marcus Epps, we'll see how good he can be. But that's a separate conversation. The Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver core is arguably the best it's been since we've had one. And let's be totally frank about it. Terrell Owens was here for a short amount of time, but when he was here, he was clearly the best wide receiver in Eagles history. You think about previous wide receivers like Todd Pinkston, Freddie Mitchell; those guys don't even smell or even sniff Devontae Smith and AJ Brown's jockstrap. Then you take it back in the day, Mike Quick, Harry Carmichael; those are the OGs. Harry Carmichael is a Hall of Famer. Let's make that very clear. But when you think about talent, when you think about the overall ceiling of this Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver room, it's truly astounding. And then you think about what Dallas Goedert brings to the table, and you draft a guy like Grant Calcaterra, right? You still got Tyree Jackson and Jack Stoll on the roster. Tyree Jackson is still rehabbing, but AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, you think about what they bring from a receiving perspective in their own respective right. AJ Brown is that big body physical wide receiver that's not afraid of catching any pass across the middle, can go up and catch any 50-50 ball, has a catch radius like Stretch Armstrong. Then you got Devontae Smith, your route running technician, a guy that can get you or can average 14 to 15 yards per reception and has the speed to break away. You can use him in many different ways. And on top of that, he's very astute with his feet. Footwork is tremendous, being able to catch any ball on the sideline. And then Quez Watkins, the barn burner, someone who has game-breaking speed. And if you take your eyes off of him for a second, he will burn you and he will get open and he will catch that ball going deep. And then, of course, we're still trying to figure out what can we do with Jalen Reagor. I'm not going to take this time to down Jalen Reagor. This is not what this video is for. But Jalen Reagor is clearly one of the weaker receivers in the wide receiver room. But then you throw Dallas Goedert in there, he satiates or supplements that deficiency. And Dallas Goedert was already ranked by PFF as being a top 5 tight end in the NFL. He's arguably the best tight end in the NFL when it comes to not just receiving but blocking as well. He has been graded as being one of the best blocking tight ends since he's been in the NFL. And I think that's something that you need to really key in on. But this is exactly what they said about the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver core. PFF said A.J. Brown, a legitimate number 1 option who can win over the middle of the field, changes everything for Philadelphia's receiving core. The only wide receivers to average more receiving yards per route run than Brown, who the Eagles traded for on day 1 of the 2022 NFL Draft since he entered the league in 2019, are Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson. That is some high people to be next to. And yards per route run, that's something I'm still beginning to understand. I learned about it from my man Gate City Sports. But clearly it's an important stat when it comes to judging a wide receiver's productivity. And when you think about guys like Devontae Adams and Justin Jefferson, who are at the top of that list, and A.J. Brown's right there, you can't really argue about that. They also said Brown, Devontae Smith, and one of the more underrated tight ends in the league, Dallas Goedert, is a nice core with players like Quez Watkins and the thus far disappointing Jalen Reagor adding some speed behind them on the depth chart. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver core and the tight end room is definitely looking up, and I'm super excited about what's to come. All we're waiting on is for Jalen Hurts to really throw that pill and see if he can really be the guy to lead the charge. Look, I told y'all before, I really believe Devontae Smith is going for over 1K. He's going for over 1,000 yards, and I'm definitely going to give him 7 touchdowns minimum. And then AJ Brown, I don't see why he can't get 1,000 yards either. Maybe 8, 9 touchdowns. Look, this is going to be a huge year for this wide receiver room. Everyone can get looks, and because of the presence of everyone respectively, everyone's going to get open. You can't double team anybody on this roster. You got AJ Brown on your right, Devontae Smith on your left. What are you going to do? Dallas Goedert in the middle of the field is going to be wide open for you. And then Quez Watkins can kill the hash marks, splitting those cover twos. So we're going to see what happens. But I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you guys think. Do you think PFF got it right, ranking the Philadelphia Eagles top 5 as far as their receiving room with AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Dallas Goedert, and remember, they were ranked number 4 behind the Miami Dolphins at 3, Tampa Bay at 2, and the Cincinnati Bengals at number 1. And the Las Vegas Raiders were number 5, and the San Francisco 49ers were number 6, and that rounds out the elite group. But you guys be the judge. Once again, comment below. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I am your humble host, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry.